ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। आजानुलंबितभुजौ कनकावधातौ संकीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलाय तक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालो वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारो वन्दे श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य नित्यानन्दसहोदितौ गौडोदये पुष्पवन्तौ चित्रौ शम्दौ तमोनुदौ नित्यानन्द नमस्तुभ्यं प्रेमानन्दप्रदायिने कलौ कल्मषनाशाय जानवपतये नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौरभक्तवृंद। निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग, निताय गौरंग जय निताय गौरंग। Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for this festival of Nityananda Trayadashi. It's very auspicious to remember Lord Nityananda and his pastimes in this holy occasion. Lord's pastimes are oceanic, but we will only taste a drop of it today in the next half an hour. You will see Lord Balarama as an associate of Lord Krishna. He is Adi Guru. And Lord Nityananda is also Balaram. We call him as Nityananda Balaram. And he is also Adi Guru. So there is a Samashti Guru or Yashti Guru. Yashti Guru means individual gurus. And Samashti Guru means he is a sum total of all the gurus in all the universes. Which means in every jiva there is a spiritual essence of receptivity to learn about the Supreme Lord, love Him and serve Him and surrender to Him. And that spiritual essence seeks divine association. From whom? From a Guru. And all those who can cater to the spiritual quest or spiritual thirst of the jivas and connect them to the Supreme Lord, they are called Gurus. And all those Gurus get empowerment from Lord Nityananda. So therefore he is called Samashti Guru. Being Adi Guru, he always acts in a way mercifully to bring the jiva back to Krishna. Like you will see, Lord Balarama, he punishes Romaharshana Sutta. Because although Romaharshana Sutta was a disciple of Veda Vyas, he was sitting on an elevated Vyasasana. He was deeply learned in all the Vedic corollaries and Vedas and Puranas and different Angas of Vedas. Still, Adantasya Abhinitasya, it is said. He was uncontrolled and he was not humble. And while everyone stood up to respect Balaram, he did not get up from his Vyasasana. And due to that false pride, Lord Balarama taught him a serious lesson by simply taking a grass and touching his head. That's all. Next moment, he was gone. He was liberated. Finished. And all the Brahmanas cried out, ha, hi. So they all said, we were about to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from him. Oh, Lord Balarama, you have killed him now. What do we do now? Balaram said, I can bring him back to life instantly if you wish. They said, no, no, no. Let your desire be fulfilled, and you are teaching a great instruction to the world. Let that be so. But empower his son, Sutta. And then Sutta Goswami was empowered by Balaram. We see that. So Balaram teaches the whole world a very important lesson. Even if we are devotees of Krishna, we should always respect the spiritual master and respect the Vaishnavas. And always we should remain humble as a transparent biomedia of Guru Parampara. Now, in the same manner, you will find when living entities become illusioned, and Balrama wakes them up from the illusion. During the time when Balram had gone on behalf of Yadu dynasty to meet the Kauravas and asked them, why don't you give your daughter Lakshmana in marriage to Krishna's son Samba? What is the problem? So he was sitting in a garden, and the Kauravas came and spoke to him in a very belittling way. They said, why is the Yadu dynasty, which is like a chapel, trying to sit on the head of Kuru dynasty, which is by far superior? Like that they asked a question. So when Balram saw their arrogant speech and behavior, immediately he took his hull, the plow, and he stuck it in Hastinapur. And he lifted the whole Hastinapur, and he was about to throw it in the ocean. So everybody there was like an earthquake. Everything was shaking. And all people came running, keeping Lakshmana in the front. All Kauravas were hiding behind, coming and putting her in front of Balram and said, we are sorry, we are sorry. We didn't know your prowess. So in this way, he woke them up out of illusion. So Balram shakes up and wakes up people. So therefore it is said, if you want to hear the flute sound of Krishna, first you should let your heart be plowed by Balaram. So you find in Vrindavan, Krishna Balaram standing together. Balaram has a plow, Krishna has a flute. So Krishna's flute is very sweet, adored by the gopis and all the Vrajavasis of Vrindavan, and the cows and calves and deers and peacocks and monkeys and birds and trees and everybody, Yamuna. But to relish that flute sound, one has to let one's heart be plowed. Bhaktilata has to be Bhaktilata beej has to be planted. It has to be watered by hearing and chanting, and fenced by the association of pure devotees and following regulative principles. Then one has to grow it very carefully, and until it reaches the Goloka and produces the fruit of Krishna Prem. Then one can hear the flute sound of Krishna. So Balaram comes first as a servitor Godhead in our life, in the form of our Diksha Guru, the spiritual master, and many Shiksha Gurus who become vehicle for the sublime message coming in Guru Parampara for all of us. So, in this way, Balram, he acts as a guru. Now, take Lord Rama coming along with Lakshman. Lakshman is also Adi Guru. He's an expansion of Balaram. He wakes up the sleeping soul, Sugriva. Sugriva actually was coronated as a king by Lord Rama after the defeat of Ali. And then Lord Rama told him that now it's rainy season now, let it get over. When autumn comes, then you can help me in finding out Sita. So autumn season started, 20 days were passed. And Rama called Lakshman and asked, what is happening with the monkey, Vanara, Sugriva? It seems he has forgotten his duty. He told he will come and help us. Now he has become stupid in sense gratification, in his royal delights. Lakshman said, at once I'll go and kill him, he said. Ram said, if you kill him, then how can he do the work which we want him to do? Then Lakshman said, okay, I understand the point. Okay, I will go and bring him here and make him become obedient to your instructions, he said. So you can see whether it is Balaram or Lakshman, their anger is also arising out of the jiva's foolishness and mischievous tendencies, an illusion to become forgetful of the Lord, turn back to the Lord and headlong go in the direction of Maya to bring those jivas back. So Lakshman went to the palace of Sugriva and twanged the bow loudly and woke up Sugriva, and Sugriva got really frightened. And that's a very long story cut short. Sugriva surrendered to Lakshman and said sorry. And then he said, I was in the slumber of Maya, now you woke me up. So Sugriva represents all jivas and Lakshman represents Adi Guru. So Adi Guru comes to wake up the sleeping jivas. So in this way, all of us also, when we are born in this world, we are living in forgetfulness of Krishna until the Guru comes in our life. Like Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest to get a kingdom better than his grandfather. But then Narada came and woke up the love of God in his heart. After which, it was like switching on a tube light in a dark room. Now Dhruva became completely free from all material desires. So, this is Adi Guru. When he comes as Nityananda, it's very special. Lord Nityananda's pastimes are much more sweeter than Lord Balarama's pastimes. Lord Gauranga's pastimes are even more sweeter than Lord Krishna's pastimes. And the main reason for that is their very merciful nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that Krishna vinna vichalayet, he says, Sakta karmanya vidvamso, yatha kurvanti bharata. He says that there are people who are attached to the material position and they will not want to give it up and go to Krishna. So Krishna says, don't try to forcibly detach them from their materialistic activities. Let them headlong go in that direction. And then eventually they will get some kicks from Maya, learn a lesson, and after some lifetimes they'll come back to me. But no need to forcibly get them. Let them decide by their own voluntary choice, like the Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. In that purport, if you read, Prabhupada says, the devotees of the Lord are more merciful than the Lord by the mercy of the Lord, Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita. What does that mean? There is a crest jewel quality in the heart of devotees, which even Lord Vishnu adores in Ambarish Maharaj. Lord Vishnu told Durvasa, there are two qualities in the heart of my devotee which really charm my heart. One is my devotees don't have desire even for moksha. They don't want even moksha also. Moksha vancha also they don't have. They don't want liberation. They are ready to take birth again and again to love and serve me. Secondly, my devotees have a compassion, which even I feel I don't have that much. My devotees, actually Krishna is called Hare Krishna Karuna Sindho, we say. But my devotees' compassion is even superior to mine. When I tell the devotees, don't disturb this attached living beings, leave them, they say, no, my dear Lord, please give him one more chance. Let me give a try. Let me persuade him to become your devotee. So the devotees go and take all sorts of troubles. And although they may be subjected to a lot of tribulations and difficulties by the foolish, mischievous living entities, the devotees of the Lord tolerate it and bring them. So the devotees' desire is, let me make Krishna's mercy more easily available. They request the Lord to bring his lotus feet down and down and down. Be more merciful. Make the spiritual life more easy, more easy. Like that, they are pulling the Lord down. And they are catching the heart of the Jiva and telling Jiva, hey, qualify yourself, Jiva. Come here. Elevate yourself. Surrender to Lord. Chant the holy name. Follow the four relative principles. Elevate yourself. So they elevate the Jiva by catching his hand. They pull the Lord's lotus feet down and they match. They connect both. And that is the duty of the devotees of Krishna. So this is their compassion. Our compassion is to connect the Jiva to the Lord. Therefore, Lord Nityananda's compassion is very much glorified. Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Ram. Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Ram. Abhimana Shunya Nitai Nagare Veda. Adhama Patita Jiver Dware Dware Giya. Adhama Patita Jiver Hare Rama Maha Mantra Deno Bilaiya. Yare deke tare kohe dante trinadhari. Yare deke tare kohe dante trinadhari. Amare kiniya loho bhaja gaura hari. Yetabale Nityananda Bhume Gadi Jai. Yetabale Nityananda Bhume Gadi Jai. Sonara Parvata Jeno Dhulate Lota. Hena Avatare Yarati Najanmero. Tan bole te pabilo aragelo. Akrona Paramananda Nityananda Ram. Abhimana Shunya Nitai Nagare Veda. Like Balaram, Lord Nityananda wears a blue dhoti and his hair is tied in the top like a knot, surrounded by beautiful pearls. His body is whitish in color. His eyes are like lotus petals. And he has very delicately formed the limbs of his body. And in his heart resides Lord Gaura, always. And his eyes are decorated with tears of love. And his disposition is one of Parama Ananda. So, when he appears in this world, the first meeting of Lord Nitai with Gauranga Mahaprabhu shows the ecstasy of Lord Nityananda. So he carries this ecstasy in his heart. And when he hears the Sankirtan of the holy name or recitation of the holy Bhagavatam, he goes out of control. He jumps, he dances, he rolls on the ground, he shouts loudly. He becomes uncontrollable, so much so that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only could control him at the home of Nandanacharya. And he not only carries this kind of ecstasy and akrodha, he never becomes angry. His anger is also an expression of his love. And he is always Paramananda. And Abhimana Shunya means he has not even an iota of pride. He is completely gentle and utterly humble. And how do you know he is utterly humble? He goes to the homes of the fallen conditioned souls and batters the door. When they open the door, he folds his palms and he begs them, please chant Krishna's holy name. Bolo Krishna, Vajo Krishna, Karo Krishna, Shiksha. Chant Krishna's holy name, worship Krishna, study Gita Bhagavatam. And they say, that's all. We thought you will ask them for some cash or some money. There's nothing else. Just chant the holy name. And you become pure devotee of Krishna and go back to Godhead. That's all he begs. And some people who are simple-hearted, they accepted. And those who wouldn't accept, who would say, we have no time, he would beg them repeatedly. If they wouldn't listen, he would roll on the ground with his golden-like body. And then they would feel very disturbed. They would say, no. Such a beautiful, handsome body. Why are you putting it on the ground and rolling? Get up. We will surely chant the holy name. They would say. In this way, he would tell the people that if you chant Lord Gauranga's holy name, you can purchase me with that. In this way, he would go to Adama Patita Jiva Dware Dwaragiya. He would go to the fallen people's homes, people who are drunkards, who are chain smokers, or womanizers. He would actually deliver them, liberate them, purify them, elevate them, award them Krishna Prema. This is Lord Nityananda. And he even delivered two worst sinful rogues, Jagai and Madai. So, who are very, very difficult to be even dealt with by anybody. But Lord Nityananda thought, if I bring Lord Gauranga's mercy to this type of very degraded people, then other people in society will take Lord Gauranga very seriously. Therefore, he would always sing, wherever he would go, he would tell the people, Bhaja Gaurango, Kaha Gaurango, Leha Gaurange Naam Re, Bhaja Gaurango, Kaha Gaurango, Leha Gaurange Naam Re, Jedana Gauranga, Bhaja Sehai Amar Pran Re, Jedana Gauranga, Bhaja Sehai Amar Pran Re, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, In this way, Nityananda Prabhu felt that let Gauranga's mercy be reachable even to those degraded people. In this connection, I'm going to tell you something very interesting now. See this verse, Madhya 1664. It's a very important verse. So, easy to remember for you. Every day you chant 16 rounds, and some of you may be chanting 64 rounds on Ekadashi day. So, remember 1664, and today is Ekadashi day. So, you can remember 1664, Madhya Lila. Okay? प्रतिवर्ष नीला चले तुम्ही ना आसीबा गौडे रही मोरा इच्छा सफल करीबा. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu, do not come to Jagannath Puri every year, Lord Nityananda, he said, but stay in Bengal and fulfill my desire. Like that, Mahaprabhu is giving an order to Nityananda Prabhu. Why he is saying? Because he is saying that in the age of Kali Yuga, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be chanted and propagated also. And Lord Chaitanya specifically requested Nityananda that you are an expert teacher, so remain in Bengal and broadcast the Krishna consciousness all over Bengal. Only you can do that. Prabhupada says here, especially he is asking a question if you see here, does this mean that Lord was refusing Nityananda Prabhu a fortunate opportunity to come to Dham? He says, no. One who is a faithful servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must execute his order, even if one has to sacrifice going to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Jagannath there. In other words, it's a greater fortune to carry out Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order than to satisfy one's senses by seeing Lord Jagannath. One example I'll tell you. One time in the airport, Prabhupada was sitting, and many devotees were sitting close to his lotus feet, some 10, 20 devotees. They were all looking at Prabhupada. Prabhupada was looking at the book distributors who were distributing books, and Prabhupada was smiling at them. Which means Prabhupada was very pleased with those who are busily engaged in Krishna conscious services, especially book distribution. He was charmed by them. Whereas the devotee sitting next to Prabhupada, very close to Prabhupada, was charmed by Prabhupada. You can see that, which goes to show the spiritual master is very happy to see the devotees who take responsibility on behalf of the Guru Parampara. They may not be sitting at the feet of Guru all the time and watching his pastimes, but they are going out to reach out the message of the Lord to the suffering souls, and that is very pleasing. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Although Lord Chaitanya is ordering Nityananda to stay in Bengal and preach and not come to Puri, it's not that Mahaprabhu is displeased with him. Rather, it's a greater fortune, Prabhupada says. Then he says further, preaching is more important than staying in Vrindavan or Jagannath Puri, or one's own personal satisfaction, like that he says. Spreading Krishna consciousness is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Even if some of you are staying in Sridham Mayapur or Sridham Vrindavan, if you are staying, from there on online you can preach, and you can cultivate thousands of people worldwide. That facility is there nowadays. You can even sell online book distribution, so sitting in the Dham also. Basically, we should have compassion for the suffering souls on behalf of Lord Nityananda and reach out the people. Prabhupada is quoting the Prithvitya Nagaradigram, Mahaprabhu's prediction, prophecy. This will satisfy the Lord, he says. Taha siddhi kare hai na anye na dekhiye amara dushkara karma toma haite haye. Mahaprabhu is saying, you can perform a task that even I cannot do, but for you, I cannot find anyone in Gaudadesh who can fulfill my mission there. See, Mahaprabhu is saying, amara dushkara karma toma haite haye. For me, some task is very difficult, but you can do it very easily, Nityananda is saying. That means Mahaprabhu is saying that you are a better preacher than me. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. You may wonder how. The reason is Mahaprabhu delivered people like Prakashanand Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Mahaprabhu's discussion was with personalities like Ramananda Rai and a very exalted class of ministers like Rupa and Sanatan, that kind of people. And for the masses, Mahaprabhu did Sankirtan. For the classes, he discussed philosophy. But Lord Nityananda was able to deliver some very degraded people like Jagai and Madai. And also once a group of thieves in Hiranya Pandit's house, a group of rogues and thieves, he delivered them. And he delivered Jagai and Madai also. So, and Nityananda invested bhakti in the heart of Gadadhar Das, who went and gave a slap to one Qazi and made him chant Hari Hari. So you will see that wherever Lord Nityananda Shakti, Avesh is present, even they do preaching to many degraded people also. So in this way, Lord Nityananda's preaching was very special. Therefore Mahaprabhu said, when it came to Jagai and Madai, I saw that Madai was taking a pot and hitting on your head, making you bleed. And I immediately evoked the Chakra to cut off the head of Madai. But at that time, Nitai, you came in between and you didn't let me kill him. And then you bestowed the love of God upon Jagai Madai. Mahaprabhu said, you are a love of God awarding devotee. And I am a Chakra wielding preacher. You are a love awarding preacher. So who is a greater preacher? Like that Mahaprabhu asked. I can only kill the miscreants, but you can liberate the miscreants and give them love of God. So you are a better preacher than me, like that he said. So here Prabhupada is saying, see here what Prabhupada writes here. Similarly, if one is true to Gaur Nitai's service and disciplic succession, he can even excel Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplic succession. Nityananda Prabhu delivered Jagai Madai, but a servant of Nityananda Prabhu, like Srila Prabhupada, his divine grace, by his grace can deliver many thousands of Jagai Madais. It's true. Because Prabhupada went to the West, 10,000 people aspired from Prabhupada and 5,000 Prabhupada initiated. And another 5,000 were waiting in line. Many of them were actually eating beef, drinking wine, taking drugs. So Prabhupada delivered thousands of people who were in this category. Actually, Prabhupada is explaining that only. That is a special benediction of the disciplic succession. One who is situated in the disciplic succession can be understood by the result of his activities. And this is always true as far as the activities of Lord and his devotees are concerned. Like one time Prabhupada asked, see, Hanuman could jump over Lanka by just chanting Jai Shri Ram. But Ram needed a Setu Bandha. Who is great? Prabhupada asked. Haridas Thakur was chanting 3 lakh names every day. Lord Chaitanya chanted only 1 lakh name, 1 or 2 lakh sometimes. So who is great? Haridas Thakur's Namacharya, he said. Devotees were bewildered. Lord is great or his devotee is great? And Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya preached only in India, but he made me preach all over the world. So what do you understand from this? And devotees are even more bewildered. And then Prabhupada laughed and Prabhupada said, the Lord delights in empowering his devotees to do even more than himself. And he derives delight, just like Lord Krishna empowered Arjuna to fight the battlefield of Kurukshetra and get the credit of winning the battle and defeating even Bhishma and other great souls. You will see that. So Prabhupada said, Lord Chaitanya could have preached all over the world, but he wanted to leave that work for me. Because I am his devotee, he wanted to give me the credit. But Lord only empowers his devotee to do great things, Prabhupada said. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya glorified Nityananda Prabhu's preaching to be better than his preaching. Here Prabhupada says here, you see, by the grace of Vishnu, a Vaishnava can enter better service than Vishnu. That is a special prerogative of Vaishnava. The Lord actually wants to see his servants work more gloriously than himself. And then he quotes the example of Krishna Arjuna in the battle of Kurukshetra. Yeah. नित्यानंद कहे आमी देह तुम्हें प्राण देह प्राण भिन्न न है यही त प्रमाण. Nityananda Prabhu said, "Oh Lord, you are the life and I am the body. There is no difference between body and life itself. But life is more important than the body." He said, Nityananda Prabhu said, "My dear Lord, I am like the body and you are my pran. Without pran, how can body act? Similarly, without your glance upon me and your empowerment of me, your order for me, I have no power to preach," like Nityananda said. This way, both of them are praising each other simply out of pure love. So Krishna Balaram, they come as Gaur Nitai, and the Gaur Nitai are teaching us how to become pure devotees. Accepting this wonderful grace that's coming. The Nityananda Prabhu took the grass and put it in his teeth. That's why it is said, Dante Trina Dhori. Earlier he took the grass and finished Ramakrishna Sutta. Now he took the grass and put it in his mouth and he was rolling on the ground, begging people to chant the holy name. Therefore, Nityananda's pastimes are heart-touching and tear-producing in the eyes of the devotees. So therefore, it's a very auspicious occasion, Nityananda Trayadashi. Let us pray to Lord Nityananda for his mercy. Nityananda namastobhyam premananda pradayine kalau kalmashanashaya Janava Pataye Namaha. Srila Nityananda Prabhu ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Nityananda Trayodasi Maha Mahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Kali Yuga Pavana Harinama Sankirtan ki. Thank you very much.